alongside you, whether in the unforgiving sands of the Middle East, in our communities during COVID-19, through typhoons, humanitarian missions, or during countless trainings and joint exercises, has been the greatest honor of my military career. He urged the Guard to continue serving with honor and said he will always carry pride in having worn the uniform with them. However, in a memorandum to the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Chief of Staff dated November 13, 2025, Cruz documented serious concerns about how the transition was being handled. He said, quote, "In March 2025, I submitted a formal letter of intent to retire, effective September 30, 2026. You retained full authority to select a successor at any time. Thus, I emphasize again, my concern is not the decision to appoint a successor. It is the procedural irregularities in how the transition has been executed." Cruz warned that the process, which omitted senior Guard leadership from notification, created ambiguity in command authority, risked erosion of federal trust, and could affect soldier morale and joint operations in the Indo-Pacific region. He emphasized that he had not resigned, been relieved, or formally removed, meaning no lawful vacancy existed for a successor to take command. In light of this, he issued his abrupt resignation the next day, November 14, 2025. The governor's office issued a statement of their own thanking Cruz for his years of service, stressing that the transition would follow all requirements of Guam law and Department of Military Affairs procedures. The governor said, quote, "Our priority now is to support a smooth transition for the Guard, provide stability for our soldiers, airmen, and civilian personnel, and ensure continuity of mission. We remain confident in the strength and professionalism of the Guam National Guard and the men and women who serve our island with honor." And today, Colonel Karen Watson was sworn in as Acting Adjutant General by Governor Lulian Guerrero. Watson said, quote, "It's a special honor for me to return home and continue my service to our beautiful island and her people. The Guam National Guard has a reputation for being the best, and I look forward to working with these incredible citizen soldiers, airmen, and families." Legislative leaders are also responding. Senator Shangu Matautau, chair of the Committee on the Guam National Guard, called Cruz's resignation, quote, "a great surprise," and described the cancellation of the ceremonial change of command as, quote, "disappointing," noting he now awaits the governor's formal nomination so the confirmation process for the next tag can officially begin. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
And in other news, former Senator Mary Camacho Torres made her campaign for Guam's delegate official today, marking the moment on what would have been the 101st birthday of her father, former Governor Carlos Camacho. Torres said Guam is facing an urgent affordability crisis with families overwhelmed by rising housing costs, medical bills, and grocery prices. She emphasized that many of these challenges are shaped by federal policy, problems Guam didn't create but lives with every day. She said a more effective voice is needed in Washington to push for meaningful relief for island residents, noting that without stronger advocacy, the federal failures weighing on Guam will continue. Torres highlighted her bipartisan track record in the Guam legislature, where she authored nearly 40 laws, cutting taxes for 90% of small businesses, expanding paid parental leave, increasing foster home capacity, and strengthening protections for survivors of violence. She said her candidacy is rooted in delivering results, not headlines, and that the true measure of the delegates' work is whether life becomes more affordable, whether young people see a future on island, and whether Manamku and veterans are treated with the dignity they deserve. An internationally recognized researcher on U.S. militarization is on island this week, and tomorrow he's inviting the community into a candid conversation about its impact on the Marianas. Mitsuki Hirayama reports.
The sheer massive military presence here is unlike any I've seen anywhere in the world.
A deeper look at militarization and its effects on island communities coming to the Guam Museum Theater Tuesday evening. Author and political anthropologist Dr. David Zine will spearhead the event, hosted by Pratehi Guahan and our Commonwealth 670. Vine has spent years studying how U.S. bases shape economies, environments, and everyday life around the world. He says the Marianas fits into a much larger global pattern.
The pattern of economies that are revolving around military spending in an extremely insecure way are patterns we see worldwide that I've been studying for almost 25 years. I think it's important because it's really a life and death matter. The military buildup is affecting people every day in their daily lives when it comes to the water, the air, the soil, the environment in which people live, the economy in which people struggle to make a living.
Muñeca Flores with Pratehi Guahan says the goal is to create space for open, informed dialogue.
As we're facing this massive military buildup here, the constant pressure for comment periods, the constant presence of war games, as well as all of the harmful proposals really being considered for the Northern Marianas, the testing and training there as well as our long-standing history of environmental justice issues. This is just a very critical moment, and we really wanted to build a space to connect our very diverse, our very diverse audience with the work of Dr. Vine, and kind of to contextualize it in our own history and our own experiences here.
Vine is the author of the trilogy The United States of War, Base Nation, and Island of Shame. His research has become a touch point for discussions about land rights, displacement, and environmental change in regions with large military footprints. He invites residents, service members, and veterans to engage in candid conversations.
This is a life and death matter for people in Guam more than anyone because of the way in which Guam is at the heart of the military buildup in the Pacific and is thus a target and would be ground zero for any future war that I want to do everything in my power to prevent.
The event kicks off Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the Guam Museum Theater and will be followed by a reception. Vine's books will be available for purchase and some will be raffled. The event is free and open to the public. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Time for a quick break. You're watching KUAM.
Tangy pickles, slivered onions, tender pork covered in our delicious barbecue sauce, and topped on a home-style bun. Behold, the McRib. It's not just a sandwich, it's an experience altogether. The McRib returns. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Anything's possible. I push to the limits. I climb every wall. I keep on believing. Anything's possible.
If there's one thing we've learned, it's never to underestimate the spirit and strength of the people of our island home. Which is why at Bank of Hawaii, you, your dreams, and your possibilities will always have a home. Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii.
Welcome back to Primetime. Well, the Guam Police Department is putting millions of dollars of new muscle on the road. At the Ricardo J. Bordalio Governor's Complex on Friday, GPD rolled out its new patrol fleet and critical gear, a $4.2 million investment in public safety. The lineup includes 47 Dodge Durango Police Pursuit 4x4s, 4 Dodge Ram Pro Master Vans, a Kia minivan, and 2 Ford Rangers. all funded through a mix of ARPA dollars, federal highway safety and TAP grants, school safety funds, and local money. GPD also added 5 drones, a speed detector with photo and video technology, a PA system, new command post supplies, and 100 first aid nylon pouches to support officers in the field. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and Chief of Police Stephen Ignacio said the upgrades modernize tactics, boost officer safety, and help keep families safe as officers patrol our streets 24/7. And President Trump has rolled back some tariffs on specific food products in an attempt to bring down rising prices in grocery stores.
Tariffs have now been rolled back on more than 200 food items, including coffee, cocoa, bananas, beef, avocados, and tea. It's the result of an executive order President Trump signed Friday.
But what we've seen in recent months is that food prices are among the categories that have increased the most.
UC Berkeley Assistant Professor of Finance Anastasia Fedek says the rollbacks appear to be a response to consumer dissatisfaction with rising prices. Cal State East Bay Professor of Economics Farhad Sabaton says this change highlights how the Trump administration's tariffs have impacted prices.
I think because President Trump had promised that he's not going to allow inflation to flare up, now he's reducing those tariffs, hoping that it would reduce the prices of groceries and food.
These economists said it may take weeks or months for consumers to feel the effects of the rollbacks.
So that's not something that kind of you roll back a tariff and then tomorrow prices are changing, because it does take some time to flow through the ecosystem.
And they warn it's possible tariffs on other products could cancel out potential savings from these rollbacks.
Maybe the price of groceries are going to go down because of the tariffs, but we also have other issues.
Meantime, President Trump maintains other countries have felt the bulk of the impacts from tariffs.
Next, it's often said that mental strength is a key component to success in any industry and across all sectors, and having a good memory is essential. And a group of experts in the area of developing a strong ability to recall is holding a workshop about this core skill. Once again, here's Jace.
Whether in the fast-paced climate of business, in the demands of the classroom, in public service, or in competitive sports, having a razor-sharp memory and quick mind are core to winning. So, what is the measurement of a good memory?
So really that is the key, is to make sure that the inputs going into your brain are refreshing and new and novel. What you want to think of as the people who have the best brains are young people, right? The sharpest, they're able to learn faster, all that stuff. One of the reasons is everything is new to them, everything is exciting. So you can create that same environment by challenging yourself with new information.
But for those of us that don't naturally commit pages upon pages of text memory, how do we condition our minds?
Of the box is realizing you have a personality and being able to take care of it just like a child. It's got needs. Needs of security, needs of belonging, needs of credibility. And how do you take care of your personality if you don't know how it works and how it behaves?
And there's also the angle that's just good practice to improving your mental abilities by clearing the mind.
To be able to perform at that high level is to be in a state of flow. And when you're in that state of flow, you're neither nervous or down, but just being in that relaxed state, but also in a peak performance. So now we have that technology to be able to measure that through EEGs, through heart coherence, and we can train our bodies to get into that meditative state and see real time with technology. So those are some of the things I'll be talking about in the conference. And also what I'm hoping to bring down the pipe too is to work with athletes is using genetics. And sometimes the genetics will hinder your performance, and I wanted to talk about how we can overcome some of the genetics of the cards we've dealt with.
Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a view of the beautiful village of Delegate at sundown.
This holiday season, the magic is near. In every aisle, it's crystal clear. From decor that dazzles, to toys that bring joy, to sweet little treats for each girl and boy. Lights that sparkle, gifts from the heart, it all comes together at Kmart.
Calvo Select Care's comprehensive medical provider network offers our members choice and access to quality facilities locally in Asia, Hawaii, and the continental United States. We provide our members several wellness programs and healthy options to improve their overall health status. Calvo Select Healthcare that's always there for you. Federal employees and annuitants, enroll today.
Let me win!
But if I cannot win,
let me be ready to attempt!
Come join us at the Delegate Sports Complex for the Special Olympics Softball Jamboree. Support these athletes and keep their dream alive.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby! Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
Sometimes parenting can be hard. What should I be doing? The Guam Early Learning Council includes partners who can provide you with early childhood services and supports. We are here to assist. For resources and information, simply call 311 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., excluding holidays. Early connection can change everything.
Now it pays to spread the Better Together experience. With our brand new referral program, you can earn up to $150 in account credits for every referral you bring in. That's right, family, neighbors, friends, even your coworkers. Just pass them your account name and account number. When they sign up for Docomo Pacific service and drop your info, cha-ching! Credit applied. So spread the word and start stacking those savings. Additional conditions may apply. Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific Better Together, Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas, and the Guam Army National Guard. Live here, serve here. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope you had a fantastic island weekend. Now, speaking of which, the Jingle Bell Run is coming up, and this is going to be at the Leo Palace. So, you know, it's a beautiful course. It's a lot of property, and you are going to have the time of your life. So, a 5K and a 2K. This is on the 14th, right? So, 11 days before jolly old Saint Nick makes his way here and drops off the presents. So, make sure to check it out. It's a morning event. And look at the shirt. Is that not incredible? You are going to be wearing that for years to come. You know, worth its weight in gold. All right, make sure to register and check it out. Thank you, Guam Running Club, for putting on these absolutely amazing events. All right, Hope Camp coming up. Speaking of things that are positive, that are going to get you in a right frame of mind, get your physical talents ready, because you are going to take your game to the next level. And this is Game Time's event. Coaches Chad Ike and John Diaz are back, and they are not only teaching you how to have the proper form, how to have the right technique, but also have the right mindset, and above all, sportsmanship, right? Because it's one thing to win and lose, it's another thing to play the game the right way and have respect. You know, intimidate your opponent, but never disrespect your opponent. Those guys are going to teach you that. Shout out to them for coming out. All right, Village to Village is still happening. One of my neighbors, when I was walking around the other day, they were like, hey, Jace, is that thing still going on? Yes, absolutely. And we are going to be at Kmart every Tuesday from 12 to 2 throughout the month of November. So you got a couple more opportunities to swing by, help us take care of people that are going through some really tough stuff right now all around the island. And on Giving Tuesday on the 2nd of December, we are going to be going around to all of the island's 19 different municipalities, and we are going to be distributing your very generous goodwill gifts. So thank you. Si Diyos maasi. Maraming salamat po to each and every one of you. All right, and then your NBA Game of the Week on Wednesday. We got a really, really good game for you. The Pistons doing some real damage this year. Cade Cunningham and crew, really good. They are taking on the Hawks, and then the Suns and the Trailblazers. All right, now it is time for birthdays. Happy birthday on the 17th of November to Jean Ojeda. Happy birthday to my oldest sister and my love. Great, wonderful, special day. And please enjoy your birthday cake emoji. And we love you, sister. Dina Ojeda, nicest and nephew, both say we love you. Happy Too Fast, Too Curious, my love, to Gregorio Flores Perez the 4th. From sweet little giggles to big birthday wishes, you brought so much joy into our lives. From your tiny toes to your unstoppable curiosity, can't wait to see the new adventures this year holds for you. With all the love to infinity and beyond, Mommy and Daddy, Ama and Papa, Zaimani, Zairi, and JD, Zion, Nina Kim, Nino June, and Nina Chloe, and Uncle Angel V. And Johnson Pacifico Jones, happy 4th birthday to you. With that clever mind of yours, you will leave a legacy of changing hearts. That is awesome. Enjoy today with the love of a family from Dad, Mommy, Henry, and your siblings. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com.
And that's your Primetime Show. Thanks for watching. I'm Destiny Cruz Linkus. Have a safe evening and stay beautiful.
Well, it's another month of a lot of issues for veterans we have to talk about.
Oh, yes.
So much has happened. First, the last time we talked about the bill that was introduced and the hearing.
That's correct.
And then the week later, or maybe even a few days later, the OPA report was submitted. Mm-hmm. So that is OPA report 25-11. It doesn't exactly say what day in October. It just says October 2025.
I think it came out the day after the public hearing.
Right.
Yes.
It did. So some of the things that came out of it. I mean, there's a lot of issues that were mentioned in the report. The report is 44 pages long.
Yes.
It's 44? 60. I'm not sure how many pages are long. But I know there's a few attachments to it. But let me just touch on the big things.
Okay.
Insufficient staffing to process VA claims. It's insufficient staffing to maintain the Guam Veterans Registry. Insufficient staffing for cemetery operations. And inadequate office space. And deficiencies in data management and information security. And then other matters, which was during the course of their research on the audit, the bill was introduced to have the director, the commission, have the director be when they so currently the director is appointed by the governor, but there is law that says it should be a classified position. But the audit also says there should be some more study to find out what it is for the stakeholders. So those were the findings.
Not very many things there to do, is there?
It's a lot to do.
Well, and you know, before we really just dive into this, you know, let's just really say that, you know, there are a lot of fine, good intentioned folks that are really trying to do the best that they can, right? And unfortunately, right, we're in a position that, you know, when we look at these things need to get done, right? When we say they need to get done, right, we can't keep expecting that, you know, our veterans are going to be asking for more and we don't even have the foundation laid for this, right? And, you know, these issues are long-standing, which means this just didn't happen yesterday. This didn't happen last year or 5 years ago when we came on the scene with veterans. This has been going on for a long time. And, you know, unfortunately, those that are there kind of inherited the fact that, hey, you know, you are the person at the moment sitting there as the director. And when all these arrows are getting shot at you, right, it's not you personally, right? But regardless, you're there for a reason. And if you sat there and you decided to take that position, right, you probably may want to look at the things that are in need of work. You probably need to maybe devise a plan, you know, look for solutions and find out what the best solution might be. All along the way, it's important to communicate this. If you're doing these things or trying to do good things, and I'm sure he's doing a lot of great things, right? He's doing the best that he can. But if the best that you can is not getting us to where we're supposed to be, right, then he's going to need to ask for more reinforcements, right? And that should have been done since day one, right? And when I say day one, right, the good director has been there. This will be his second time down there, albeit different administrations, right? And yet still, right, that's the idea of what we need to talk about, right, is where do we go from here? Why these things are the way they are, right? So again, right, when we talk about these things, we're talking about them in a way, shape, fashion, form, so that what we're doing is bringing up the fact that a lot of things need to get done. Now, what I'd like to say too is that I know that when we had gotten together with like Eddie Regis and some of the other folks, right, we put together something to try to assist them. We presented this to the governor and lieutenant governor. We presented it to the last legislature, and we've been asking, how can we help? What can we do as a nonprofit to get out there and help? And if the folks that are out there are asking to provide you some help and assistance, and we're really ignoring, and maybe not ignoring, maybe there's rules and guidelines that he probably needs to express to the people that are offering him help. And maybe the folks that he's currently got that he's allowed to help him, right? Maybe this is a good time for us to measure them and say, hey, the folks that you're providing you guidance or help are are probably, in need of more help, right? So, you can ask somebody for help, but what if the things that they're doing is not adequate, right? Then we need more help. So that's something that maybe we got to consider as well.
GU Self-Storage, located in Harmon next to McDonald's, offers a variety of storage units. With rates starting as low as $95 per month, we offer complimentary use of dollies, push carts, Plines hand trucks, and pallet jack, with a fully covered loading and unloading areas and ADA accessible units. We offer 24-hour CCTV surveillance monitoring, alarm, and individual pin-coded gate and door access, because your safety is our priority. GU Self-Storage, voted Pica's Best in 2024. Call 671-648-7867 today.
Did we invent crispy chicken? Nah, we just put it where it belongs, inside burritos and tacos, obviously. Extra saucy. 2 strips, huh? Look at that. Overachieving? Sure. Did you ask for it? No, but we did it anyway. Crispy chicken from Taco Bell, a brand new classic. You're welcome.
What's coming up this week? Is it this week or next week? The hearing.
Oh yeah, so that's the oversight hearing is what they call it, right?
Oversight hearing that Senator Sabrina Salas-Manzanani is going to have because of the OP report.
Yes, and so, gosh, I really want to just control myself and not, just go at it, right? And we can't, right? Because we all have to work together, and that's easier said than it is done. And there's a lot of folks out there that will say anything about trying to work together, but saying something and doing something are 2 totally different things. So when we say we want to help, right, we've submitted paperwork. We've actually gone there. We've spoken to the director. We've spoken to the governor. We've spoken to people in the legislature. So if you're asking, well, have you gone there to do something? Yes, we have. Have you submitted paperwork? Yes, we have. So in that regard, that's something that we've done. Now, I think a little bit about some history, right? The last committee chair, and I just spoke to him last week, latter part of last week, Senator Dwayne St-Nicholas, right? So I was telling him, I said, hey, I hope you don't mind if I continue to tell people that when you were the committee chair, when you were in the legislature, that you opened up your office for us. He goes, oh no, that's fine. That's what I'm there for. And the reason that's very important is because at the time when he did that, right, contrary to what some people are saying in the legislature when they go out and say, hey, the commission has been running for a long time, that actually is not true. The commission has not been running properly. When we went to the good senator's office, we went there and we kind of got together this task force, the Guam Veterans Task Force. We got together because the talk about not being able to have a commission meeting was something that was important. Regardless of whether we felt there was no teeth, right? We needed to keep that running as well as provide for how do we get them to run. We even offered, let us pay for the ad. So, when people start talking about, hey, we had to, we've been running the commission, no, it has not. Stop telling the people, things that are not true. There was a time when the commission was not running, and they were not running because they couldn't put an ad together. We went and started talking about, let's find a way to get these ads going. And by putting those ads together, they were finding out how to get those ads on the paper. We found out that we couldn't do it. But a lot of misinformation still going around. So when they talk about, is somebody doing something? We are. The Guam Veterans Task Force got together to put the commission where it's at today. And I want to also say, Tom Atta was a big help in this, to include the rest of the folks that are in there. there are fine folks that are on this island that are contributing behind the scenes. All the while, some folks are out there touting their being the ones that are putting these things together, and that's not necessarily true. We have folks to the tune of General Benny Polino that has been on that task force. Tom Atta, Eddie Regis, Bob Kelly, Rob Jackson, Charlie Hermosa, a bunch of veterans. And they're coming together because they feel that, hey, there's a need for us to do this. And Johnny Atula, I have to say his name because if I don't, he's going to be upset. So Uncle Johnny was also there. And I don't know if there's something you wanted to add to that before we keep going, because I'll keep going on this, and so maybe I will, since you're going to allow me to go. So that all leads up to where we're at today. We've been constantly looking at the issues that needed to be taken care of, supporting the commission. Now, why that's important is Tom Atta, when he met with us, we talked about the commission not having teeth. What that meant was the law did not allow for the commission to tell the director what the organizations want the director to do. So we got together, and Tom Atta, who's very knowledgeable about this, started putting these things together, amendments to change the things that are in the existing bill. And this was done during Dwayne St. Nicholas's time. When we left there, we already had that groundwork, framework put together. What should we change? What are things that, could be adjusted to meet the current times? So that work was already done. It was already done. So when we first had the good Senator Salas Mantanani come to the task force meeting, I was sitting there when we tried to advise her that, hey, there's, amendments that probably are put together. And this is something that, based on experience, the good Senator, Tom Atta, said, we have to piecemeal this. The way the system works at the legislature is you cannot just send them everything, because it's almost like a shock when you send them, hey, you need to do all these things. What about this and that and this and the other? How do we get all these things lined up? How do we get this through, right? And if you're sending them something very comprehensive, it's going to be difficult for them to really arrive at, hey, how do we get this done? It's almost like it's information overload and the system can't handle it. So that was kind of the advice that he gave at the time. And I know the senator came out with something really comprehensive herself, right? And we tried to push that out. So all of these, the folks in the commission and the folks that were put there are trying to say, oh, we don't like this, we like this. And all of a sudden they said, well, we're going to create a working group. Problem with that working group is, how do you get a working group together in a commission, in a public meeting, without putting that on the agenda, without talking about, hey, we need a working group to take care of these things?
Oh, they don't care about the agenda. They'll just talk about what they want. But then when someone else wants to say something, they give them 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, and to your point, right, there's the list of organizations that are on the upcoming event, right? And there's quite a few organizations that are on there. And what's interesting is, this is not to say that these organizations are not good organizations, right? But they're placed on a listing, on a government listing for a government event. And some of these organizations are not in operation anymore.
Not according to the rev and tax listing of nonprofit organizations that are active, right?
Which is quite interesting, because how do we arrive at a list and say, hey, here's a list of organizations? There's an organization on there called HMI. They're on that organization. Why are they on that listing? Are they truly an organization? Because if they are, they're not on the commission. And
well, they don't want us to join the commission. They're scared of what we are and what we do. So
well, I'm not sure that that's necessarily where we want this conversation to go.
Why not?
However, what we want to talk about are all the little things that are adding up to where we need to be with what we're doing. And this is where coming together is very important. And we need a special person to do this. I'm not saying that, the folks that are there are or aren't the right people to be there. But if you start looking at, not so much what people are saying, but what they're doing, then you're going to really take a look at, are these people truly bringing our veterans and our veterans organizations together? And if the answer is no, then maybe we need to work on that. How do we get somebody there that's able to bring everyone together? And I'm sorry, you can't pick and choose, right? You don't get to do that when you're sitting here saying, hey, all of our organizations and all of our veterans need help. If you look at the report, that report tells us we got nowhere else to go but up. So we got so many issues and challenges through the OPA report. What is it that we really need to do with that?
Change, make change.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
And when you talk about that, right, so let's take a look at what you just said, make some changes, right?
Yep.
How and to who, and do we need to change people out, or, what is it that we need to do?
I think so.
Now there's laws, right? There's laws that talk about if you're sitting in a position, you're holding this position, right? If you're not doing your job, there could be sanctions for you if you don't do that job.
Resign.
Some folks, when they feel that they're doing the best that they can, feel that meets the threshold. Now, the people that will determine whether you meet the threshold or not are potentially going to be your veterans.
They're not doing a good job, and one veteran not assisted is one too many. Because their job is very important. They're changing lives. They're supposed to know their job. They're not supposed to send a veteran away when the veteran asks for help. They're also supposed to know the law and keep up with the law in 2025, and they are not.
And then recently, just at the very last commission meeting, there was mention of the VFW having 2 VSOs. That information is old. There are no VSOs at the VFW. And more importantly, right, what is the VFW saying about that? Right? It's because if you are a VSO, right, your job is to be informing all the veterans of all the issues and policies and procedures and things that are going on. If you want to be a VSO, you have to know what you're doing. You have to keep up. You have to be down there finding out what the veterans want and need. You cannot be just, you pick somebody and you pick something. No, these folks need to know what they're doing. If you have not looked at the way claims are done, if you have never filed your claim, if you've never seen the process or taken the time to follow a veteran through their process, we got issues with how you are truly going to say you're a VSO. Yes. When they report who they're helping. I know that on the commission meeting, they said, we want these VSOs to help our people, right? Our veterans on the island. I know that the VFW VSOs are helping people outside of Guam, and they are counting that they are helping these people in the Guam meeting. Now, again, this is not a problem when it comes to saying, hey, are you doing VSO work? But the challenge comes when you're a VSO and you're here on Guam and you need help. The OPA report tells you veterans here need help. Why is it that it's so important for you to go outside of Guam to help people? Because it's your region? Because they require help? Well, what about the people here? They require help. So there's issues about how these things work that, maybe we need to try to learn a little bit more, right? Try to find out more about what these things are really talking about. So anyway,
Can we move to the registry? So
Oh, yes.
insufficient staffing to process VA claims, that's important.
Yeah.
Because of course we don't know the true number of how many veterans we have here. But processing a veteran claim, that's a lot more than I can only see 2 veterans once a day, and then the appointments are months out. Because when a veteran files their claim, they get letters that say you have 2 weeks to respond, you have 7 days to respond, you have 30 days to respond. And that's important, especially if maybe a veteran might miss their exam. When they miss their exam, they don't know what to do or where to go, especially those that are not informed of the process. So that's insufficient staffing. I'm not sure how many VSOs are down there now. I think only 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 or 4 down there. I'm not sure.
Well, but they didn't bring that up at the commission meeting either.
No, because they only want to talk about what they're going to do in 2026, not what they're going to do now.
Well, and again, right, that's why that information is important. If you are part of the commission, your job is to get the information together and disseminate it. If you don't want to disseminate the information, send it to the director and tell him to disseminate it. But in both of these areas, we have a difficult time accessing information. Information doesn't flow downward. No. Information staying up here in a place where the people that are up here are sharing that with themselves, and
that's good enough for them
in their mind's eye.
Yeah, that's what they think. It's good enough. So insufficient staffing to maintain the Guam Veterans Registry. So this OPA report was from 2018 to 2025. So from 28, so their registry went from 2017 to today. They've only registered 2,197 veterans.
And so let's talk about the registry a little bit. So in the existing law, the Speaker of the legislature, last legislature, it was Tariff Terlahi. This current legislature, it's Frank Bloss Jr. So when we talk about that, there should be reports going to them. Now, you know, I would ask that the speaker tell us if that report has been submitted. And if it has not, it would be a good idea for him to just mention that, you know, hey, I did not get a report. You see what I mean? We're good at telling people your job is to do this, you got to do that. But then when the follow-up of, hey, where's this report? And that's a very crucial report, and it's important because that report tells us the number of veterans here that need services, that are required to get services, and potentially what kind of services we're going to be receiving from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. So that number is important. On top of that, through the task force and HMI, we got the governor to proclaim this year as Year of the Veteran Count and Veteran Registry. And that's in line with something that needs to be going on. This is an easy way for the commission to jump on board and get a count from all these people. You don't need somebody to come on air and tell you, hey, go do this, right? You should already know that you should be doing this. The last time they testified at the legislature, right? That was right before this OPA report came out. I'm interested to learn that when those commission members went down there talking about the bill and how they supported the bill, I want to know what type of research they were doing, because they were doing this research as a working group through a government entity, right? And when they did that working group, why weren't they able to get things out of the OPA report? How do you go down in front of the legislature supporting something when you don't even have background? You don't even know what's going on. You didn't even go check the OPA report. I want to know who they interviewed as veterans. I've not seen a report. They've not done a survey of the veterans on the ground to find out what these veterans want.
Which goes back to them sharing information with themselves is good enough. It's not. Because you're not asking veterans, what do you need, what do you want, what's going on with your health care, with your benefits, and that's important, because how are you going to make change when you don't even know?
And to add to that, right, so I don't think we're going to get all of this out in one sitting. And for the last 2-3 airings on the podcast and on the radio show, we've been trying to really get this all out, and I don't think we're going to be hitting that all in one sitting. Now, talking about the OPA report, talking about the bills that need to get passed and things that need to happen, right? There's room for all kinds of work to get done. So that's something that we maybe need to start paying attention to and really getting out there and doing some work, right? And however that might be, we do it like we do it here on our island, right? We what we do is we go to, for example, in the village, if somebody's having a party, even more than that, right? During my time when they're having a party, we all get together as teenagers and we say, hey, let's go see who's having a party, and we go help. We might not be invited to the party. After we help, they call us to the party, right? Now, in the old days, when somebody was building a home, the village would get together and go participate in helping them to build their home. So I think that's probably something that we need to start working on again, right? Is, really coming together and really get boots on the ground. Stop sitting on a chair trying to tell people, hey, this is what to do. Get down on the ground, meet the veterans, talk to them. You'd be surprised at what they're going to tell you. And the things that we're doing, right? Like, I think we have an event coming up that you want to talk about.
Right. So the nonprofit organization, which we're a part of, HMI, Ihanana Imagahit Zani Anina, this weekend we're having our 4th annual 5K.
Yes.
And so this thing is heavy. I don't know if I can carry this. I'm just going to push it over. This is the Perpetual Cup. So this is for all the military branches, Guard and Reserve, to compete for.
Yes.
And this is, so the ones that hold it today is the 1st Battalion, 294th Infantry Regiment, Guam Army National Guard.
Chamorro.
Chamorro?
Yes.
So they got this. They won it last year. So I said, hey, are you guys going to defend it? He goes, yeah. So when I asked to get this, to take it around, he goes, you can borrow it. So they've already registered their team. So
yes.
So Guard, Reserve, Army, Air, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, then the Marine Corps come out and compete for this.
They're not going to. They can't.
They will.
No, they won't. They can't beat the Army Guard. These folks that are what organizations are you saying? Air Guard? Who else? Coast Guard? Are those real branches? Because if they are, we should see them at this 5K. And by the time this airs, we would have already had the winner of this. But we won't get to announce it until the next podcast.
And this is EFIT wood. This thing is so heavy.
So it shows that you have to be strong to win, right?
Yes. And this is on the back we have the
Code of Conduct for the United States Armed Forces. Right. Wait a minute. So that's for the United States Armed Forces. Does that include Navy, Army, Air Force?
Here's all of the services.
Coast Guard.
Here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Space Force. Nick Gordon. I think you're the only guy there.
I know Nick come and run it, but then he has to have a team.
Hey, you better activate some Space Force guys to come in for you.
Yeah, this is nice.
Or at least he needs to show up, right? And defend.
So this is November 9th, Chamorro Village. So this is going to be evening, run, walk, 5K, 2K.
Yes.
And then on November 15 is our 3rd annual Veterans Gala, and that will be at Dusit Tani. So if there's any businesses out there that employ veterans, consider purchasing a table for your veteran. Honor your veteran. We invited an organization, and they said, oh, we're already attending another event. I said, this isn't for you. This is for your veterans. So purchase it for your veterans.
Yes, and again, right, you still have time by the time you hear this to purchase that table. We hope there'll still be tables, and If not, right, we'll do our best to try to get you in there. There'll be ways to do it, but yes, for the gala, right? You talk a lot about, thank you for your service, and you need to find a way to really make that tangible and mean something, right? Buy a table. If you are a public servant or somebody aspiring to office out there, right? If you got veterans in your organization, bring them out there. If you are a mayor, get a table for your veterans, find a way to get them out there. You can't make everybody a veteran of the year. You can only pick one, but if you buy a table, you can get 10 of them on the table. Maybe all the ones that were nominated, you put them on the table and they'll be at the gala and at least they'll feel appreciated, right? And, we need to really start paying attention to this need for us to, lift up our veterans and really do something, right? License plates are fine and great, but I think we need to really work on a few more things, right? And we got to improve that bill. You got to show up. You got to really be out there to make these things important for our veterans. And you veterans, you got to get out there too and support. So, come out and do your thing, and then we'll all get together and have a good time. So,
right. We hope to see you all soon.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Until next time.
We'll see you again at our next podcast.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hold on.